Many people are familiar with that strange feeling when, in the stillness of the night, between 3 and 5 in the morning, sleep suddenly abandons you, forcing you to stare at the ceiling, filled with questions without answers. But if such awakenings become frequent, especially for older women, it may not just be a random sleep disturbance, but an encrypted message from your own body, hinting at deeper aspects of health, emotional state, and even upcoming changes. The paradox is that many do not realize that such nocturnal awakenings can serve as an indicator of internal processes requiring attention. There are strategies that can not only shed light on the causes of these awakenings, but also transform restless nights into periods of peace and awareness. Special attention should be paid to one strategy that is often overlooked, but it may be a decisive factor in improving sleep and overall health. These scientifically sound tips will not only help restore healthy sleep, but also experience a surge of energy, as well as improve emotional balance. If nighttime awakenings have become an obsessive problem, it may be worth watching to the end to find a solution. This article will explore simple but effective methods that everyone can use to calm their body, clear their mind, and even find inspiration in the quiet morning hours. Instead of passively suffering from insomnia, the reader will be able to take control of the situation and improve their sleep habits. So, settling in comfortably, you can immerse yourself in these transformative steps that can forever change the quality of your sleep. The solution is very close. Imagine a situation, a sudden awakening in the middle of the night, when the body has not yet freed itself from the remnants of sleep, and the mind is already fully awake. Your eyes fall on the clock, and a wave of panic washes over you when the bright numbers show, for example, 3:17 a.m. Your heart starts beating faster. It's happening again. Familiar fear creeps in like an old, unwanted guest. After all, this has happened before, hasn't it? And the panic begins. The mind begins to work frantically. If I fall asleep now, I'll still have a few hours of sleep. No, it's too late. Maybe at least an hour. Oh God, why can't I fall asleep? Your heart is racing, thoughts swarm in your head like bees, and the harder you try to force yourself back to sleep, the harder it becomes. Does this feeling sound familiar? Despair, disappointment. Many people are familiar with this. Waking up in the middle of the night, especially between 3 and 5 a.m., is more common than you might think. And surprisingly, it's not the end of the world. However, it is worth noting that when a person succumbs to panic and a nervous breakdown due to insomnia, they only worsen their condition, as if throwing wood into a fire that should not be burning. It is necessary to understand the reasons for this phenomenon, and more importantly, how to change the night scenario. Forcing yourself to sleep is like trying to tame the uncontrollable, like juggling cats while balancing on a unicycle. It is not only frustrating, but also completely fruitless. When a person lies in bed, clenching their fists and mentally begging their body to sleep, they are not calming their mind, but only fueling an internal storm. Stress floods the body, and with it cortisol, the worst enemy of healthy sleep. Cortisol, this natural alarm clock, persistently reminds you to stay awake and take action, regardless of your desire. This is the nagging voice that whispers, "Don't even think about going back to sleep. Your brain is active, and you won't get any rest." And before you know it, your nervous system goes into high alert, leaving you in an even more agitated state than when you woke up. The paradox of insomnia is that the more desperately you try to fall asleep, the further sleep eludes you. The logical question arises, isn't it wiser to stop this futile battle? Why not look at nocturnal vigils from a different angle, turning them from a painful ordeal into a period of peace or even productive activity? This is about a radical change of approach. First of all, it is necessary to abandon the position of the defeated. The author understands the temptation to stay in bed, helplessly staring into the darkness, but urges you not to do this. You should sit up carefully, avoiding sudden movements that mimic daytime activity. This small change of position shows the brain that the situation is not hopeless, that the person has not given up, but is simply switching modes. Next, it is recommended to take a deep breath and exhale slowly. Inhale through your nose, counting to 4, then hold your breath. Exhale through your mouth to the count of 6. Repeating this sequence might seem elementary, but it's not just a soothing ritual. It's a kind of cheat code for the body and mind. Slow, rhythmic breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, like a switch that tames inner chaos. One may not even realize it, but with each deep breath, the body begins to relax. The shoulders drop, and the rapid heartbeat slows down. This isn't magic, just biology working for your benefit. It's worth asking what exactly caused the awakening in the middle of the night. Curiosity here is key to solving the problem. Perhaps the pillow has lost its fluffiness and become as flat as a sheet of paper due to its long service life. Or maybe the blanket has treacherously tangled around the legs, restricting movement and creating discomfort. It's possible that the room has become too stuffy, or conversely, an unpleasant chill has crept in. It's quite likely that someone didn't think about the consequences and left the window open, dooming the sleeper to agonizing freezing in mid-spring. These seemingly insignificant factors can subtly creep into sleep and deprive one of precious minutes of rest, even if one isn't fully aware of it. But the situation can be corrected. It's worth taking some time to get out of bed, fluff the pillow, untangle the sheets, and adjust the temperature in the room, setting a comfortable 61 to 66 degrees F, 16 to 19 degrees C, which scientists believe is optimal for healthy sleep. Even a simple glass of water can work wonders, as dehydration often causes nocturnal awakenings. The main thing is not to remain in a passive state, feeling powerless and irritated. You need to take control of the situation, taking even the most minor steps. Eliminating discomfort will help calm the mind and allow the body to get the rest it deserves. These small changes may seem insignificant, but in practice they can drastically change the situation. It's important to break out of the vicious cycle of negative feelings and regain your peace of mind. Everyone deserves a restful sleep, and the first step towards this is to stop fighting, find balance, and allow the body to perform its natural function. Quenching thirst is often perceived as something self-evident, as a routine action that doesn't require special attention. However, if you think about it, maintaining water balance is an expression of deep self-care. It's not just about consuming fluids, but about saturating the body with the necessary elements, harmonizing its functions, and providing it with the delicate support it desperately needs. Perhaps everyone is familiar with this feeling, a sudden awakening in the middle of the night, when the hands of the clock are approaching 4 in the morning, and a feeling of internal discomfort. This can manifest as dryness in the mouth, as if you had been chewing cotton wool all night, or as a restless twitching of the legs, which refuse to calm down despite all efforts. Or maybe one is just lying in bed, feeling an inexplicable heat, although there is a pleasant coolness in the room. It seems as if the body is sending a silent alarm signal, but the source of the problem remains unclear. There is no feeling of serious threat, but this condition causes anxiety. It is likely that the real culprit is dehydration. This insidious enemy creeps up unnoticed, depleting the body's moisture reserves during sleep, and when awakening occurs, it becomes a desperate cry for help. Dryness and discomfort in the mouth, a strange restlessness in the legs, and a feeling of disturbing warmth. All these are desperate pleas from the body for water, that vital fluid that it lost overnight. In the hustle and bustle of everyday life, it's easy to forget the importance of maintaining the body's water balance. However, it is worth paying attention to reasonable ways of hydration, especially at night when simply drinking a glass of water in one gulp is not the best solution. This approach does not contribute to a full rest and recovery, but on the contrary can worsen the situation, leading to even more awakening. Proper hydration at night implies a conscious choice of drink and the time of its consumption. If these conditions are met, the body will thank you with a calm and serene sleep. A common mistake is drinking ice water. In moments of heat, There is a temptation to drink something cold and refreshing, but drinking a drink directly from the refrigerator in a semi-sleep state is tantamount to a sharp awakening of the body. While the body is trying to relax and return to a state of rest, a sharp cold drink has a shocking effect. Cold water, like a bucket of ice water, brings you out of a sleepy state, causing your muscles to tense and your mind to sharpen, which doesn't promote falling asleep. This is comparable to trying to calm a woken child by shaking, which will only make the situation worse. Cold disrupts the body's natural rhythm, making it difficult to relax and achieve deep sleep. Instead, it is worth paying attention to water that best meets the body's natural needs. Room temperature or slightly warmed water can work wonders, providing a soothing effect like a gentle embrace from within. It is delicate and does not send alarming signals to the body system. When drinking room temperature water, the body does not experience stress from the cold, but accepts it gratefully, like a long-awaited reinforcement that nourishes, restores, and soothes. To maintain water balance, it is enough to keep a small glass or bottle of water by the bed to ensure gentle hydration when needed. However, it should be noted that water alone may not be enough, especially when feeling anxious or insecure. In such cases, the body loses not only water, but also important minerals such as sodium, potassium, and magnesium, vital electrolytes necessary for muscle relaxation, nervous system stability, and energy balance maintenance. Electrolytes play the role of conductors in the body's orchestra, ensuring the harmonious operation of all systems. Their deficiency can cause dizziness, weakness, and fatigue even after a full night's sleep. A mild headache, feeling of agitation and fatigue, as well as a general feeling of discomfort, may indicate the need to replenish electrolyte levels. There is a simple but effective way to change your condition. Instead of regular water, try adding a small amount of high-quality sea salt to your morning drink. This refers to Celtic or Himalayan salt, which differ from refined iodized salt commonly used in cooking. The minerals contained in these types of salt have high bioavailability and have a beneficial effect on the body's electrolyte balance. Just a tiny pinch, literally a few grains, is enough. The goal is not to oversaturate the body with salt, but to gently replenish the supply of essential minerals lost during sleep. This small adjustment helps restore the body's resources without overloading the kidneys and forcing the body to work to its limits. If you don't like the taste of salt, you can add a little fresh lemon juice. It not only gives the water a pleasant sourness, but is also rich in potassium, another important mineral that the body needs. It is recommended to slowly drink water with a pinch of salt or lemon juice, allowing it to gradually absorb. There is no need to rush. You need to give the body time to absorb moisture and get the necessary nutrients. This is an act of self-care when a person takes the time to meet the needs of their body. The benefits of this approach are very noticeable. Dry mouth, feeling of anxiety, stiffness in the legs. All these unpleasant sensations gradually disappear. A person feels how balance is restored in the body. There is a feeling of calm and relaxation. This is a subtle sense of renewal, a feeling of greater confidence and focus, exactly what a person gets when they consciously approach the process of hydrating the body. There is something truly magical in the act of self-care, giving a feeling of deep satisfaction. This action, simple at first glance, has incredible power. It's not just about simply quenching your thirst with water, but about providing your body with optimal hydration at the right time, enriched with the necessary elements. This is a manifestation of self-care, especially in those moments when support is needed most. When a person takes minor steps, such as drinking room temperature water with a pinch of salt or a small amount of lemon juice, they are not just quenching their thirst. They restore the natural balance of their body, providing it with what is needed for a fulfilling life. Therefore, the next time you wake up in the middle of the night feeling thirsty or anxious, don't rush to the first available water source. It is important to take a moment to think about the needs of your body. Give it the care it deserves, and notice how much easier and calmer it can be to return to sleep. It is these small manifestations of self-love that can transform not only your night's rest, but also your overall well-being. A sudden awakening at 4:12 a.m. is not just an interruption of sleep caused by mundane reasons, such as an alarm clock or slight drowsiness. This feeling is much deeper and more disturbing, as if the body, against the will of its owner, forcibly tears it from the embrace of Morpheus. In the night silence, broken only by the oppressive silence, there is a feeling of heaviness in the chest, accompanied by an anxious hum, an almost tangible excitement, and a vague pain that is difficult to describe in words. This is not physical pain, but rather discomfort emanating from the depths of the soul. It seems the mind is already awake, replaying the events of the past day, perhaps reliving tense moments that arose in communication with loved ones. Or perhaps it's fear of upcoming events, causing anxiety and worry. Many are familiar with this state, when the mind refuses to let go, and emotions flare up in the stillness of the night. This is not just a sleep disturbance, but something deeper, making one think about the nature of this phenomenon. Perhaps it's an awakening of emotions, a kind of alarm clock for the heart and mind, striving to draw attention to unresolved problems and experiences. In traditional Chinese medicine, as is known, there is a deep connection between a person's emotional state and the health of their internal organs. In particular, the lungs are closely related to feelings such as sadness, grief, and stress. Awakening in the early morning hours, accompanied by a feeling of depression, anxiety, or worry, may not be a random coincidence, but rather a way in which the body signals hidden problems that the mind was too busy to realize during the day. It's like an emotional whisper, reminding one of unresolved issues that a person carries within themselves and that require attention. The silence of the night provides the body with the opportunity to bring these emotions to the forefront, calling for conscious perception. Ignoring these signals may continue for some time, but the body will persistently try to make contact using subtle, sometimes unpleasant ways, such as waking up at 4 a.m. when the world is immersed in silence and the mind has no choice but to listen. Perhaps it's a burden that a person has been carrying for days, weeks, or even years. It may be unexpressed sadness or bitterness, a loss that one has not been able to come to terms with. It may also be stress caused by work, family circumstances, or daily worries that put pressure on one but are put aside due to lack of time. Perhaps it's an unsent email or an unresolved argument. Regardless of the reason, the body knows about the problem hidden beneath the surface, even if the mind tries to suppress it. It's in moments of calm, when the noise of everyday life subsides, that these feelings can no longer remain hidden. In the early morning hours, the body forces a person to confront them, bringing them into consciousness, regardless of readiness. In modern scientific circles, this concept is reflected, although it may be expressed in different words. Scientific research convincingly demonstrates that emotional overstrain and chronic stress can seriously disrupt sleep. The problem is not only with difficulty falling asleep, but also that the body is in a state of heightened readiness, even when it needs a full rest. Notably, the peak of stress usually occurs in the early morning hours, when the brain actively analyzes the emotional burden accumulated during the day, whether the person realizes it or not. Emotions that were suppressed during a busy day come to the surface, intensified by the silence and solitude of the night. Surely many have noticed how personal problems seem much more serious when you lie sleepless at 3 or 4 in the morning. It seems as if the mind deliberately exaggerates them, making them more complex and insurmountable than they seemed the night before. This is because the brain processes everything that there was no time to deal with during the day. All the emotional baggage that a person carried unconsciously now puts strong pressure on them. So what to do when you wake up in the darkness of the night, feeling the unbearable weight of life's problems, when emotions overwhelm and seem insurmountable? The most undesirable thing in such a situation is to stay in bed, allowing these feelings to grow. One should not allow the silence of the night to become fertile ground for fears and anxieties. One should not allow thoughts to transform into a chaotic jumble of questions, starting with "what if" and "why me?" Instead, it's worth taking some time to talk to yourself. It's necessary to sit up slowly, comfortably placing a pillow behind your back, and allow yourself to take a few deep breaths. At first, this may seem strange, but it's important to ask yourself questions. What is occupying my thoughts right now? What am I carrying within me that is not giving me peace? These are not questions that require immediate answers. The goal is not to instantly find a solution. It's important to recognize that something is happening inside and allow it to manifest. This simple act of recognition has enormous power as it breaks the vicious cycle of ignoring what the heart and mind are trying to convey. It is suggested to take a writing instrument and a piece of paper to record your thoughts. One should not strive for an immediate understanding of what is happening. Allow the words to flow freely onto the paper, even if they seem fragmented, confused, or perplexing. It's okay to capture simple phrases like, "Jen is making me upset," or "I long for the past," or even more abstract reflections like, "Why do I feel so lonely?" Whatever comes to mind, write it down. The goal isn't to solve the problem, but to free your mind from it. Writing gives this internal turmoil a tangible form. There's no need for perfection or neatness. It's important to allow yourself to analyze your feelings, to label them so they don't remain trapped inside, becoming more and more overwhelming with each passing minute. Simply acknowledging the feelings you're experiencing is the first step toward breaking their hold on you. You begin to limit the power these emotions have over you. Instead of desperately trying to rein in the problem itself, focus on managing your own reaction to it. By taking this first crucial step, you're already beginning to lighten the burden that's keeping you awake, and that's when the healing process begins. You don't need to have all the answers or a perfect plan of action. Sometimes, simply acknowledging the weight of the emotions that have washed over you, allowing them to express themselves freely, and freeing yourself from their oppressive presence in your mind can be far more effective than any quick fix. This is a moment of deep self-compassion, a reminder that everyone deserves the right to feel, experience, and heal, not just at a convenient time, but especially when the silence of the night forces you to confront what you've been avoiding for so long. So, the next time that unsettling feeling flickers in the pitch-black darkness, don't run from it. Instead, listen to it. Let it be a guide to the peace and clarity you so deserve. Allow yourself to gently reset your tired body. And there it is again, 4:23 a.m. You toss and turn restlessly, your eyes wide open, staring at the cold, accusatory glow of the clock face. In a futile attempt to warm yourself, you pull the blanket up higher, but it only seems to tangle around you more, forming a chaotic knot, like a mirror image of the disorder raging in your head. Every movement in bed, every unsuccessful attempt to find a comfortable position, only turns into a growing sense of annoyance. What's preventing you from falling into the embrace of sleep? Why does the body, exhausted by the need for rest, seem to rebel against itself? This exhausting feeling is familiar to many. The hours, like merciless observers, tick away the moments of sleeplessness, each tick painfully resonating in your agitated mind. Time stretches on agonizingly slowly, and the more desperately you try to freeze, the more your body rebels. The muscles in your neck tighten with tension, your legs twitch involuntarily, and your mind races in an endless cycle of disappointment and bewilderment. Why can't you find the long-awaited peace? The truth is that lying still in bed, immersing yourself in this unpleasant state, only exacerbates the problem. The more insistently you try to force yourself to fall asleep, the deeper you sink into the quicksand of wakefulness. Probably everyone who suffers from insomnia has been in a similar situation more than once, feeling like a helpless victim of a vicious circle. However, there is a simple secret. There is no need to remain in its power. The body passionately desires restoration, but it doesn't require an exhausting marathon or intense workout. It only needs a gentle, soothing impulse to help release accumulated tension and return to a state of tranquility. This method of achieving peace is striking in its simplicity, bordering on paradox, but its effectiveness has been proven by experience. First of all, you should abandon the outdated notion of the need to maintain absolute immobility. Attempts to fix the body in an unnatural position when it is gripped by anxiety are like trying to hold water in your hands. The efforts are doomed to failure. Instead, it is proposed to smoothly adopt a sitting position, avoiding sudden movements. You can lean on the headboard or lower your feet to the floor, focusing on your own feelings of comfort. The key is to allow yourself to move, to acknowledge the fact that staticity is not always the optimal solution in a situation where the body is filled with restless energy. It is recommended to start with the neck area, which is most likely constricted by tension accumulated during sleep in an uncomfortable position. You need to perform a series of smooth rotational movements. First, lower your chin to your chest, feeling a gentle stretch along the spine. Then slowly tilt your head to the right, allowing your ear to approach your shoulder. After taking a deep breath and holding it, slowly exhale, turning your head to the left. Repeating this cycle several times will gradually relieve the accumulated tension in your shoulders, restoring harmony and peace. As you perform the exercises, you may feel the constricting tension gradually recede, as if muscles that were previously in a state of extreme compression are beginning to find long-awaited relaxation. This is a kind of thank you signal from the body for finally being listened to. Next, shift your attention to your shoulders. Most people tend to involuntarily raise them towards their ears, as if carrying the burden of everyday worries and an endless to-do list. In this regard, it is recommended to take a deep breath and raise your shoulders as high as possible, trying to reach the ceiling. Then, exhaling slowly, gently lower them. Repeating this movement 3 to 4 times, synchronize each raising and lowering of the shoulders with deep breathing. Inhale as you raise your shoulders and exhale as you lower them. With each such movement, the body receives a signal that there is no longer any need to be in a state of excessive tension. Don't pay attention to any creaks or clicks that may occur during the exercise. This is a natural way for the body to release accumulated tension, bringing relief to the entire system. To awaken the body and restore circulation after sleep, it is recommended to perform a few simple exercises. If you are not already sitting on the edge of the bed, move there. Then, perform a gentle forward bend in a seated position. It is important to do this without excessive effort, avoiding intense yoga-like exercises. Simply bend at the hips, allowing your hands to slide smoothly towards your knees or the floor, and hold this position for a few seconds. This exercise provides a gentle stretch of the spine, as if allowing it to take a breath. Allow the muscles to relax, releasing tension accumulated from prolonged lying down. Stimulating blood flow in the lumbar region helps reduce the feeling of stiffness that occurs after several hours of immobility. While in this position, take a deep breath. Inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth, feeling your chest expand and your body relax with each exhale. Deep breathing sends a signal of safety and well-being to the nervous system, helping to relieve stress accumulated during the day. Finally, shake off excess energy. Lifting each leg alternately, perform light shaking motions, imagining you are shaking water off your legs after swimming. This exercise, while it may seem frivolous, effectively helps to release accumulated tension. Spending a few seconds on each leg, you can feel the tension dissolve in your calves and thighs, calming the nervous system. Feeling cold in the extremities, such as hands and feet, can be an additional signal of the need to improve blood circulation. Frozen limbs can create discomfort throughout the body, preventing it from relaxing. In such cases, vigorously rubbing your hands together, mimicking the attempt to start a fire, and then applying them to your feet, can be an effective way to warm up. This simple and quick method can have a significant impact on the body's ability to relax and return to a state of sleep. Scientific studies confirm that warming the hands and feet promotes faster sleep. This is because body temperature naturally drops before sleep, and warmth in the extremities helps to speed up this process. Thus, warmed hands or feet act as a kind of signal to the brain, saying that it is ready for sleep. These gentle and delicate movements, seemingly insignificant at first glance, are actually a quiet reminder to the body of its need for rest, release from accumulated stress, and relief from tension that prevents sleep. Give yourself this short respite, and your body will surely thank you for your care. Tame the restless racing thoughts with the healing power of sound. Imagine, it's the middle of the night, the clock reads a treacherous 3:58 a.m., and your mind, instead of sinking into the embrace of sleep, suddenly decides to host an unscheduled marathon. A chaotic stream of thoughts darts around in your head like restless ping-pong balls. Tormenting questions swarm in your consciousness. Is the door locked? What important event is planned for tomorrow? Joe, why did I blurt out that ridiculous phrase back in 2019? Desperate attempts to quell this mental chaos fail, because the stronger the desire for silence, the louder the internal noise becomes. In such moments, the elusive prospect of sleep seems like an unattainable dream, and a person finds themselves trapped in an endless mental loop. A familiar picture, isn't it? And surely many will recognize themselves in it. When the mind shifts into uncontrolled activity, attempts to forcibly silence it are doomed to fail, like trying to tame a raging tornado with a fragile paper fan. But don't despair, there is a way out. There is an effective method, a kind of sonic panacea, that does not require exhausting struggle with oneself. It is enough just to connect to the healing power of sound. Properly selected sounds can become that gentle and caring hand that softly lulls restless thoughts, returning them to a peaceful sleep. Instead of mechanically reaching for the phone in an unbridled desire for endless scrolling, it is worth realizing that this activity is a real trap for the mind. The short-term dopamine rush obtained from this process only intensifies the state of brain hyperactivity, leading further and further away from the desired sleep. Instead, you should pay attention to the sound keys that can quickly calm and immerse you in the arms of Morpheus. First on the list is pink noise. Many are familiar with white noise, which can be imagined as static interference from an old television tuned to an empty channel. White noise is like a sound blanket, however. According to many, it may seem somewhat harsh. Pink noise, on the contrary, is a softer and more affectionate relative designed for sleep. Imagine the soothing sound of rain quietly drumming on the glass, the gentle rustling of wind in the foliage of trees, or the rhythmic lapping of ocean waves. There is something truly calming in these sounds, as if nature itself is singing a lullaby. The difference between pink and white noise is subtle, but significant. Pink noise softens high tones, enveloping the listener in a warm and cozy cocoon of sound. Why does this work? Scientific studies show that pink noise is perfectly synchronized with the natural rhythm of brainwaves, directing them to the slower frequencies characteristic of deep and restorative sleep. A study conducted at Northwestern University in 2017 found that pink noise not only promotes better sleep, but can also positively affect memory the next day. Imagine waking up rested, with a clear mind and ready for new achievements. It is always useful to have a portable speaker or a preloaded file with a recording of pink noise on hand. It is important to set the volume to a minimum level so that you can barely hear the sound, and allow this gentle, even hum, like the rustling of rain or the lapping of ocean waves, to envelop the mind in a soothing shroud. In case pink noise does not cause particular delight, or there is a desire to try something more targeted, you can always turn to a short meditation before bed. We are not talking about long meditative practices, but about short sessions lasting 5 to 10 minutes, aimed at achieving peace. Imagine a calm, soothing voice, like the velvety timbre of Morgan Freeman, gently guiding you through a relaxation exercise. Focusing on breathing, you can gradually relax each part of the body, starting with the tips of the toes, moving to the ankles, calves, and so on. This process is like a bedtime story for adults, offering a quiet escape from worldly bustle. The effectiveness of this method lies in the fact that it provides the brain with a simple, almost monotonous task, which, thanks to its calm and repetitive nature, tires the mind and prevents immersion in anxious thoughts. The voice becomes a life-saving thread, pulling you out of the stream of restless thoughts and returning you to a cozy bed, to a safe haven. Complex applications are not required to achieve peace because in the vast expanses of YouTube and podcasts you can find a treasure trove of free resources. However, you should be vigilant and avoid channels that interrupt the meditative process with sudden advertising inserts or intrusive sound effects. Nothing should disturb the fragile atmosphere of relaxation. It is recommended to pre-test various options to find the one that suits you perfectly. It is important to set a comfortable volume level, quiet enough not to disturb sleep, but at the same time audible enough so that the voice can gently and gradually lead you away from chaotic thoughts and back into the arms of peaceful sleep. It's amazing how a simple sound can transform the whole night. Next time insomnia disturbs your peace, try applying these techniques. They work wonders, calming the mind and returning you to the serene sleep you deserve. It's like giving your brain a well-deserved rest, a small haven from the worldly bustle. Believe me, you deserve it. Summing up, it is worth thinking about what was considered. We talked about the deep connection between emotions and the body, about how quiet moments, especially in the pre-dawn hours, can reveal hidden experiences that we may be avoiding or suppressing. Instead of allowing these emotions to build up, you can take time for self-reflection, writing down your thoughts, and freeing yourself from distressing feelings. This simple yet effective practice can significantly change your approach to managing stress, sadness, and emotional overload. The video creator asks viewers to share their thoughts on the valuable lessons they learned from the material and how they plan to apply them in their daily lives. Whether it's practicing self-reflection upon waking in the middle of the night or developing a habit of recording your experiences for better understanding, the creator encourages active sharing of opinions in the comments. In conclusion, the creator expresses hope that the video was helpful and encourages viewers to support the channel with likes, reposts, and subscriptions, emphasizing that their contribution is of great importance. The creator bids farewell to the audience, wishing everyone well and promising new encounters in future episodes.